Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this devotional with Chaplain Dan. We're here today to try to reflect on some aspect of our lives together and how we might find help, direction, encouragement sometimes, and occasionally, thankfully, just occasionally, answers. When life presents us with a challenge, a crisis, something we just don't know what's going to happen, and we ache inside. Have you ever had such a situation where no matter how wise you were or how many smart people were around you, you just somehow didn't have an answer come? Folks who've lived as long as we have here at the Wesleyan community, I suspect all of us have had circumstances like that. I want to address today really a statement that turns into a question. When we have no answer, where do we turn? I have no answer. Now, that's not something we say very easily. Men, perhaps more than women, are reluctant to admit that in our day and time. But all of us know that feeling. I have no answer to this situation. I've many times been with families who had sudden deaths of loved ones or damning, scary, life-threatening diagnoses given when they didn't expect it, or when a loved one was somehow taken from them in war or in another part of the country with disease. This virus has put several of us in that position, I'm sure. Yes, there are times when we have no answers. So where do we turn? I'd like to suggest that in moments like that, I've found one particular psalm. I seem to be turning to the Old Testament, the Hebrew Scriptures, more and more for my own guidance and for devotional reflections with you. I'm not quite sure why that is. Perhaps it's because I've become almost too familiar with the Christian messages in times of desperate confusion. Jesus is with you when I don't feel Jesus with me at times like that. Neither do the folks I've been with in moments of crisis. Sometimes people of deep faith, the tried and true, if you will, Sunday school answers just don't seem to help. And it helps maybe in that time, those kind of settings, to turn to another view, another articulation of the hope that will not let us go. And that is most accessibly and most familiarly for us with the Hebrew Scriptures, the Old Testament. And yes, there are guiding principles, cautions in the prophets, certainly in the creation story and the early narrative of the covenant God made with Israel through Abraham. But the Psalms seem to be, at times of crisis, personal crisis, the most helpful messages. Maybe it's the easy, accessible, and reflective words of the poet. I don't know. But I find the Psalms to be a real source of hope. I commend you to read them. Well, there are a lot of them. So I want to suggest today one that is particularly hope-filled, answer-giving when we don't know where else to turn. That's the 146th Psalm. The 146th Psalm, the first few verses, just began right where we are in those moments of desperation and need. Listen to the words. Praise the Lord. Yes, even when that's the last thing I feel like doing, the psalmist says, you've got to sometimes give it up to something, someone, some power that is bigger than you. And so the guidance is, praise the Lord in the first verse. Praise the Lord, O my soul, even though it may be breaking. I will praise the Lord as long as I live. Well, I wish. But read on. I will sing praises to my God in all my life's long days. Putting this in perspective, it says, do not put your trust in princes, be those princes today's national leaders, international figures, local officials, even pastors, maybe certainly pastors. Do not put your trust in persons of authority. Rather, in mortals, the psalmist says, there is no help at times. When their breath departs, they return to the earth on the very day their plans perish. As soon as the plans of the human authorities fail. The doctor says, I'm sorry, I've tried everything and there is just no hope for your loved one. The disgraced leader says, I stand before you a man ashamed. I've led you astray. The psalmist writes, in times like that, happy are those whose help is in the God of Jacob. The God of Jacob is the God, yes, Jesus' Father. Yes, the God we know in our Christian experience. It's the same God, but the God of Jacob is a God who came in the moment of Israel's great needs to be real and close and personal, speaking through the prophet. Yes, that was a God who could take us where we ourselves and our fellow humans could not direct us to go. And it's that God sometimes we need to reacquaint ourselves with. Those whose help is in the Lord their God, the one who made heaven and earth, the seas and all that is in it. Therein lies, the psalmist concludes, therein lies your hope forever. Where do we turn? Where do we turn when we have no answers? The Lord our God, bigger than any of our dilemmas, perplexities, or plagues. The Lord our God, bigger than any of our hurts, or disappointments, or fears. The Lord our God, He is the answer. That helps. It seems to, way beyond my understanding, help folks in time of desperate need, confusion. It's helped me in my life at those times. Yes, I don't need the stories of the sweet Jesus at times like that. I need to know that the Lord our God is not going to forsake us. Thanks for being with me today, and I hope you have a blessed rest of this day. I'll see you next time. Come on in.